We've all been through hard times, talking about really hard times. And I know sometimes we think it's always gonna be that way. Know what I'm talking about? But I do believe this too shall pass. And I really mean what I say. If you want it, you can make a change. It doesn't take a whole wide world to make life better. It doesn't take a whole wide world. If you want to see a change, start with an attitude of gratitude, then see yourself clearer in the mirror, step by step, minute by minute. Put your heart and your soul and love right in it, and then you're gonna see a change. Know what I mean? It doesn't take a whole wide world to make life a little bit sweeter. It doesn't take a whole wide world, not if you want to make a change. Just hang on and just be strong. Remember, God is always with you, talking step by step, minute by minute. Put your heart and soul and all your love in it, and then I am telling you, we're all gonna see a change. Choose love, it's what we all respond to. Choose joy, it's in a smile or in a song. Choose hope, it's what we all hold on to. Step by step, minute by minute. Put your heart, your soul, and all your love in it, and then, my friends, we're going to see a change. How about one more time? Yeah, it takes, oh, not that much to make life a little bit better. It doesn't take all that much time to make a change. An attitude of gratitude, seeing yourself true in the mirror, step by step, minute by minute. Put your heart, your soul, and all your love in it, and then you're gonna see a change. Yes.
Please join me in prayer. And we come together in this January to recognize new life at New Dawn, and to understand and learn and speak on the power of intention. I give thanks for each and every soul in this sanctuary who's come here to celebrate with me the allness of God. Thanks for our musician. I give thanks for our hospitality team. I give thanks for our ushers. Thanks for my fellow practitioners who are here. And thanks to everyone who has come here, because we could not have this service without your love and energy. coming forth here. There is one life. That life is God. That life is perfect, and that life belongs to each and everyone within the sound of my voice. I know that all that takes place here will be perfect in form and substance. I know that everyone within earshot will hear a message that Spirit will deliver through our Reverend Jenn, who will say just what each and every soul that listens to this needs to hear in the moment they listen to it. I give thanks for this allness that is God, and release these words in the divine law where they're already done at the intersection of right here and right now. I let this go, I let it be, and together we affirm, and so it is. And I have some words of inspiration. I'm a little unusually verbose today, so bear with me because it's going to be very long. Our first quote comes from Divine Source. Once you have answered the call, you will never work another day in your life. From Kim Walensky. The question is not, what if I die tomorrow? The question is, what if I live for another 20 or 30 years and stay the same? And from our founder, the Honorable Dr. Ernest Holmes, the responsibility of setting the law in motion is ours, but the responsibility of making it work is inherent in its own nature.
This month we have been looking at the truth of abundance and prosperity and how it works and how it shows up and what kind of things that we do that kind of get in the way. And I think sometimes we fail to think about the fact that the power of intention can actually result in a greater life, more prosperity, more abundance, and we kind of failed that. And so we're going to talk about that for a little bit today, the power of intention. I want to get as clear of an idea as we can as to what it means to act and live with intention, and then what kind of spiritual practices can we use that support us in this process. There is a call to act without hesitation. When we become intentional, we don't sit back, we don't ask 52 people what to do, we don't take a step forward and 3 steps back. We are going forward with a momentum that is telling everyone around us and the universe that we have a picture in mind, we have a destination where we are headed, and nothing can stop us. It's kind of that unstoppable concept. And we're moving from the place of knowing who we are and what we're capable of. And we're moving through this space by knowing who we are and what we're capable of. Years and years ago, I took a class on human development, and I've referred to this class forever. I don't even know if I ever told you what the name of the class was, but the organization was called Rising Star. And one of the first things they taught us was how to act and set the intention. And I remember thinking that, okay, it's just kind of what I'm envisioning. It's kind of what's going on in my head. Dialing a phone number and thinking nobody's going to answer the phone is the wrong intention. Calling a place that works kind of for us, that operates as a call center. I mean, we've all dealt with those, right? Comcast, utility companies, everybody's got a call center now. And to think that I'm not going to get the right person, or I'm going to hold forever, or this is going to be a problem, or that's going to be a problem, that's the wrong intention. So we're going to look at how we can shift that in our lives. I have a quote here from Trish McKinley. And she says, when you set an intention, the universe conspires to give you the inspiration to make it happen. How amazing is that? So one of the things we want to remember is that God is on our side. God is on our side. God isn't punishing us. God isn't teaching us a lesson. We're doing all that on our own. God is on our side, cheering us on, ready to see us reap the rewards of all the beautiful, wonderful things we can have in our lives. The universe wants us to be happy, joyful, rich, and enjoying all it has to offer. Let me just give you an example, just a quick, short one of how this shows up. Many of you know I moved this last week. I also moved about 6 months ago. We're not going to talk about that. I moved this past week, and looking at the fact that, I had just moved recently and what it was going to entail and all of this stuff, I had a little bit of qualms about what was going to happen and what kind of interactions I could have with the situation I was moving away from. And instead of focusing on that, I only talked to people who were going to pray for grace and ease and joy and all of these wonderful positive things that were going to transpire in this move. And thrifty was a word that kept coming up. It's not a word I use. So I kept thinking, okay, what is that about? Is that about not spending a lot of money? What is that about? Well, I hired this group of movers. And one of the things they said to me was, can 2 guys do the job? Well, I had a bunch of family members who were going to be hanging out. So I'm like, sure. Well, the day they showed up, there were 3 guys. And I said, oh my gosh, what's going on? And they said, oh, well, we had to bring Nathaniel because he has to go on the next job with us, so you get him for free. And I'm thinking, well, how thrifty is that? And then what they did was when they got to the new address and they were getting ready to unload, they gave me the bill, kind of, the whole thing to look at, and an estimate of how long it was going to take them to unload all the stuff. And at that moment in time, they wanted me to go ahead and sign off on that and pay them, which I did. When they got done in less time than they thought it was going to take them, and I got a refund. And I'm thinking, oh my goodness, there's that word thrifty again. How special is that? So when we set the intention, and it's not just about seeing it in your head, it's also about taking it to prayer. Because when we affirm it in that universal mind, in that wisdom of God, of how it's going to unfold, and then we add that wonderful phrase we say a lot, this or something better, amazing, beautiful, wonderful things happen. And that's pretty much what happened with this whole situation. I was really thrilled, and we actually had fun, which that doesn't even fit my brain because I've moved 1,000,000 times in my lifetime, and I don't recall ever having fun, but it was very fun. Anonymous has this, and it might not be anonymous, but maybe it's unknown. One of those guys, they're related, has this quote that says, energy flows where intention goes. Create your day. This is such a big one because we have a tendency to forget that whatever we're focused on is expanding in universal consciousness. It is showing up. So if we are in that gloom and doom stage, or things are all going wrong, or I'm really worried about this, and we stay stuck there, that's what keeps starting to manifest around us. And so we want to really make sure, where am I putting my energy? What is it I'm focusing on? When you're looking at a situation, let's say, that's coming up in your life, and perhaps you have, I don't know, a medical procedure coming up, or you have an interview, or you have some kind of a testing process, some kind of evaluative process, and we get caught up in that, and we become nervous, we become a little concerned about it. And what we need to do, and what not necessarily need, but what we can do that can support us is project past that and see only the end result. And so when I got up on moving day, all I could see was the new house. That was all I wanted to see, was being there, knowing that that was my end result, at least for that day. And so when we can focus on that and stay there, that's what comes forth. And it's not that we can't pay attention to the doubts. It's not that we can't address the fears, because yes, we're human, we have to, we get to. But sometimes when we get into that doubt and fear, we need to take it to prayer, or we need to sit down, call a practitioner, call a minister on the phone and say, I just need a prayer right now, and here's what's going on. And get that support that helps us shift that and move through that. I happen to know that there are many people in this New Dawn community that have heard the news about me leaving in another 6 weeks or so, and have kind of stepped back to remembering the last time a minister left this community. And I'm here to tell you, we want to be very, very aware of our feelings, our emotions, where we are, and what we're projecting. Because that situation and this one are very, very different. And when that kind of comes up, when somebody says, oh my gosh, this feels just like, that's that wonderful thing we have, this little thing up here, it's called the brain. That's where it went and said, oh my gosh, this doesn't feel good, but it kind of feels like something that happened before. And we start trying to bring that stuff forward, and we don't need to do that. We absolutely, every single one of us, have the ability to set the intention as to what's going to unfold for this community. I have that ability for my life and how I support you for this community going forward. We have the right, we have the ability, we have the capability to do that. So let's support one another in lifting up and not allowing ourselves to go back into the drudgery of the past, or the gloom and doom, or the pain, or the sorrow, or whatever. Not that that's not important. There's ways to work through that, but not bring it into this context if we can. I think that would be very, very beneficial. One of the phrases that I say all the time from Louise Hay is, that was then, and this is now. So whenever I go into that stuck spot and I'm caught in the back, behind me, in the past, I can always look at it and go, okay, but that was then, and this is now. Because the thing we know about ourselves now is we know a lot more now than we did a year ago, 5 years ago, 10 years ago. We have a better capability and grasp on life now because we've made progress than we might have had then. So let's look at that and allow ourselves to be in the present moment, fully present, and knowing we have the right, the desire, and the ability to create our future. One of my favorite people on the planet, who's no longer on the planet, which is Wayne Dyer, Dr. Wayne Dyer. He was instrumental in me getting to this philosophy, because the first time I attended a church service at a religious science church, I thought that minister was speaking Wayne Dyer. I didn't know anything about Ernest Holmes. I didn't know anything about this philosophy. But I'm listening to this guy, and I'd been reading all his books, listening to his tapes, all of this stuff for years, and it was like, oh my gosh, this is a religion, this is a philosophy I can buy into. How wonderful. Here's what he says. The power of intention is the power to manifest, to create, to live a life of unlimited abundance, and to attract into your life the right people at the right moments. So it's all of that. That's what we're talking about when we say abundance. That's what we're talking about when we say prosperity, when all of the stuff comes together. So I'm going to tell you a little story. There was a way back, oh my gosh, so many years ago, I couldn't even tell how many years ago, and God had decided to create dog. And so God was in the process of creating dog, and God said, you're going to sit by the door all day at your house, and you're going to bark at anyone who comes by or walks past. I will give you a lifespan of 20 years. And the dog said, whoa, 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 whoa. No, I can't bark for 20 years. No, that's too long. How about if you give me 10 years, and I'll give you back the other 10? Okay, God said, okay, I'll agree. So on the second day, God decided to create monkey. And God said, here's what you're going to do. You're going to entertain people. You're going to do monkey tricks. You're going to make people laugh. And I'll give you a 20-year lifespan. And the monkey said, no, I will be exhausted. How boring. Monkey tricks for 20 years? That's crazy. I don't think so. You know what? I heard dog gave you back 10 years. I'll give you back 10 years, and I can take the other 10. Are we good on that? And God said, okay, I'll agree. On the third day, God decided to make cow. God said, you're going to go in the field all day with the farmer. You're going to stay out in the sun, long, hot summer days, Sometimes it'll be cold and you'll be out there in the cold and you're going to have calves and you're going to give milk and you're going to support the farmer. I will give you a lifespan of 60 years. And the cow said, ooh, dude, that's going to be kind of tough. That's a tough life if you want me to make it through 60 years. Tell you what, give me 20, I'll give you back 40, and I will joyfully hang out with the farmer in the field. God said, okay, all right, we're going to do this. All right. The next day, which was the fourth day, God decided to create man. And God said, you get to eat, sleep, play, marry, and enjoy your life. I'll give you 20 years. And the man said, what? Only 20 years? You were going to give the monkey 60. What is going on? I'll tell you what, I'll take my 20, the 40 the cow gave you back, the 10 the monkey gave you back, and the 10 the dog gave you back. That makes 80 years. I'm setting the intention right now to live my lifespan for at least 80 years or better. God said, well, okay, you've got a deal. So here's why. Here's the rest of the story. For the first 20 years, we eat, we sleep, we play, and we enjoy ourselves. For the next 40 years, we slave in the sun to support our family. For the next 10 years, we often do monkey tricks to entertain the grandchildren. And for the last 10 years, we have a tendency to sit on the front porch and bark. But we set the intention, and now we got our lifespan. I have a quote here from Lewis Howes. The world is awaiting your gift. All you have to do is show up with the right intention. Oh my goodness. I often call it an alternate agenda. I used to think that, if we weren't intentional, that we could be in a room with someone who had a different agenda than we do, and we would end up getting swayed into whatever that category was. I'm thinking more in the business world and things that were going on there. Intention is about having a can-do attitude. It's that ability to know I can do it. I can do it. With the power of God within me, aligned with me, I can do it. And it's all about living our life with purpose. I'm sure I'm not the only one in the room who has known people who are just kind of swaying in the breeze, and whatever comes along is probably what I'm supposed to do. And all the years I worked in call centers and all of the people that we trained, I found out a lot of kids just were trying to get a job. They didn't want to work in a call center. Holy Moses, when they found out what that was all about, that wasn't going to work at all. But they wanted money, they wanted income, and so they took the job. And so when we look at our life of purpose, it's like, is this something that really fits me? Is this something that really serves me? And what could possibly serve me better? It doesn't matter how old you are in earth years. Each one of us has a soul, a spirit, an inner being that is ageless. And so at any point in our lives, we can shift, we can change, we can identify our purpose, we can set the intention. And to recognize that each and every one of us is here to shine. We are. So if people are looking at you when you're out and about, yay! You're shining, and they're seeing that radiant glow. Intention is a plan. It is an aim at a target, and it carries with it power and force. It's not about kind of, sort of, maybe thinking you might kind of want it. It's not about that. It's about having that definitive knowing, that awareness. Whether it's a relationship, a job, better health, a place to live, a place to go on vacation, whatever it is, it's about going full throttle. So imagine yourself in a race car, and you start that puppy up, and you hear that engine, smell that racing fuel, and you put that sucker into gear and you take off because you have a destination clearly in mind. So this week, as we step into the power of intention, we will be going with the gusto. So if you're not rested up, go home this afternoon, take a nap, and get your gusto ready because you're going to need it this week. I believe there was an author to this quote, but clearly I missed it. So we're going to say this one is a unknown. If there is an omnipresent power of intention within everyone and everything, then we are connected to everyone and everything. Let me say that again. If there is an omnipresent power of intention within everyone and everything, then we are connected to everyone and everything. The word if annoys me a lot. It is it's the smallest, biggest word on the planet, and it can destroy anything that you have plans to do. However, in this particular context, we're saying, okay, if this is true, and it is, there is an omnipresent power of intention within everyone and everything. It is that power and that presence that is God, that we call Spirit, that we call universal wisdom. Omnipresent means it is widely or constantly encountered. Everywhere. It is everywhere. Everywhere we are, every moment in time, every thought we have, we are still connected in spirit and as spirit. Every single moment, every single day. In fact, there is no place you can go to sever the tie that you have with spirit. You can think you're doing it. You can do that through thought, but you can't actually do it because spirit is right there, right here all the time. Everywhere present all the time. I always thought that was so cool because it means that whatever I was doing 25 minutes ago, God was there too. And whatever I'm going to be doing in 3 hours, God will be there too. It's a constant. It is a constant presence in our lives. It is a constant energy that surrounds us. I don't have to go sit in a quiet corner with someone else with me to connect with it. I can connect with it at any time I choose. Now, sometimes we want to have someone help us connect because we want to be guided into whatever mindset that we need, or help us lift us up, or help us move through whatever's going on. Yeah, sometimes there's a need for that, and we have that support. But I don't have to go through someone, and I don't have to be in a special building to have that connection. It is here, always on, always present. Our founder, Dr. Ernest Holmes, talks about treatment. Treatment is a definite, conscious, concrete thing. There is intention in a treatment, and there should be definite acceptance. Treatment is another word for prayer. We use the term prayer because it's a common term and a lot of people understand it, but we have a process that is called spiritual mind treatment, or treatment, that we take and we put it into the affirmative mindset as though it already exists. So when we pray, we don't ask, we don't beg, we don't bargain. We set a clear intention and we affirm who we are, who God is, who we are with God, who we all are connected together, and then we go into that place of what is coming forth for me now based on what I'm choosing to create. Treatment. So this week, as we're going into this time of looking at what can I do to set intention in my life, and what can I do to be a part of setting the intention for this community of New Dawn, we want to look at that from exactly that mindset. Holmes goes on to say this in the Science of Mind textbook. The law of mind, which is the medium of all action, is a law of perfect balance. The objective world perfectly balances the images within the subjective world. So the images are what comes up in our head. That's what we see in our mind. It's like we get a little vision. We get a glimpse of what we want. Here's an invariable rule for knowing how to treat. We can judge the subjective concept only by its objective effect. If everything a man does leads to confusion, we would treat to know that he is poised. The spirit is not confused over anything. If everything a man does turns out to be a failure, we must know that the spirit within him cannot conceive failure. What we put into treatment will come out of it. Treatment is a definite, conscious, concrete thing. There is intention in treatment, and as I said before, there should be a definite acceptance. So think about that for just a moment. I have had, I don't know, my fair share of interviews in my life. And one of the things they love to ask you in an interview is, tell us about your biggest failure. I don't have one because I don't see it in that mindset. I make a decision, I go charging off wherever, and whatever comes forth is my learning. Whatever comes forth is my reward, is whatever comes forth is that next piece of guidance, is that next piece of knowledge and awareness of what I need to do next. I don't see that as a failure. Years ago, I moved from Colorado to Vancouver, Washington. I was working in Portland, Oregon. Got this wild hair. I thought it would be a great idea. You know, what the heck? Sounds like a cool idea. So I did. I lasted about 9 months, and then I came back to Colorado. And did it cost a little chunk of money to get from Colorado to Oregon to Washington? Yes, it did. Did I get to pay some of that money to get back? Sure I did. Were my sons like, what are we doing, Mom? Yeah, probably. And our cats, we had cats at the time. However, I learned so much. I learned at that time in my life that I did not want to live in a state where my parents were not living, because they were at that age where they were starting to have challenges and health challenges, and I needed to be there and I wanted to be there. I learned that. I also learned that the difference between the number of days the sun shines in Colorado based on the number of days the sun shines in Portland, Oregon and Vancouver, Washington was a huge, huge difference. And that's not what I wanted. So we can look at that from that concept of maybe that I failed, or we can look at that from what did I get from that? Never had a desire, thought, not even a slight inkling to move back there, ever. I was done. I went and I tested it and I checked it out, and it was cool and it was what it was, and then I was done and I came home. So as we go through this week, I encourage each and every one of you to just take your time and really focus on, what are we orchestrating in our lives? What are we creating? And it's not to say that we don't hit the panic button once in a while, or we don't become sad, or we don't have some grieving to do. It's not about that. That's all part of our humanness, and we get to pay attention to that. But the driving force, that peace that's going to drive us forward, lift us up, and secure our future, that comes from purpose, intention, and prayer. So let's hold on to that this week, and let's make it all it can be. And would you now please join me in prayer? It is with gratitude that we turn our attention right now to this idea of the divine, to this knowingness and this presence of the divine, omnipresent, being with us everywhere, always. And as we turn our attention to this, we are aware that we are always connected and that God is everywhere present, always, everywhere. How reassuring it is to know that. And how reassuring it is to know that sometimes when we forget, there will be someone who comes along, that perfect person, into our lives that will remind us that we are all of Source, and that we are all connected one to another, and that there is one life, and that is God's life, and that is perfect, and it is our life now. What a beautiful thing to know this first day of the week, and to know that we get to carry it with us throughout the week. And as we go forward from this day, I know that each and every one of us has the ability, the capability, the power to set the intention for the purpose of our lives, and to look at what we choose to create and what we choose to overcome and what we choose to add to our life experience, and know that it's good, it's perfect, it's blessed, and by God, it is divine. And so right here and right now, I bless all people everywhere. And I know that the colder temperatures have impacted so many people across the planet, around the globe. And I know that those of us who observe this behavior, observe people that are hurting, that are cold, that are hungry, that we have the power within us to support them too, and to help lift them up and allow them to feel safe and comforted and blessed. And I know that there are people all around us who are grieving, who have dealt with loss, and who are working through the process right now. And let us just hold them in the light, giving them as much love as we can, allowing them to pull themselves up and move forward, knowing that they are not alone. So knowing that all are blessed, knowing that all is good, and knowing that life is unfolding in divine perfection, there is nothing more we need to do but release these words onto the law of mind, knowing it's already done, it's perfect, and by God, we embrace it with the joy and the happiness and the grace that God has given us. So we just let it go, right here and right now. We let it be, as we say together, and so it is.
I wish you strength to rise unafraid like the morning sun taking on the day. 'Cause when you shine, you truly light up the place. I wish you strength. I wish you faith that you will overcome whatever you face until your journey's done. Stronger than words, as certain as grace. I wish you faith, and I wish you could see the you that I see standing at the edge of possibility. I pray that you will find all you need. I wish you peace that comes from within. No regrets for what might have been. That moment that's sweet between waking and sleep. I wish you peace, and I wish you could see the you that I see standing on the edge of every possibility. I pray that we will find all that we need. I wish you strength. You will rise unafraid like the morning sun taking on the day. 'Cause when you shine, you light up this place. I wish you peace and strength
and faith. I wish you strength.
Hello, I'm Reverend Jenn Wilde, Senior Minister for New Dawn Center for Spiritual Living. New Dawn Center is a global community, and we welcome all people, all paths, all ways of thinking, all philosophies. So know that you are welcome here, and thank you for joining our online community.